Some breaking news of interest here in the NBA. So there's been a couple of guys who have been out there and linked to some gambling stuff, and one of them, I forget exactly who it was also on the Miami Heat at one time, but then was exonerated. But Terry Rozier not exonerated, so much so that Shams Charania just put out, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier was arrested early Thursday morning as part of an FBI sports betting gambling probe, sources tell ESPN.
Man, that sounds familiar.
The Eastern District of New York and FBI Director Kash Patel will hold a press conference at 10 a.m. to announce arrests from the investigation.
Wow.
I mean, that's
a big deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the FBI Director himself is going to be doing this press conference, they are trying to make a big point here. And, that's big news for the NBA. I mean, this is not just a Terry Rozier problem. This is now,
it's basically, we all know it's going to be a problem. And it was a problem prior to legalized gambling, the way we understand it today anyway. But now it's just so obvious when things are going illegitimate. And I know that they try to educate these players, but what these players have got to understand is that these leagues and like companies like FanDuel and DraftKings, they have other companies out there that are surveilling players across all the leagues. They are surveilling, they have the algorithms, they have the right, infrastructure to be able to see when there's weird stuff going on within the gambling space. And then they could track it back to people. And I know that the leagues go out of their way to explain this to the players. So I guess Terry Rozier thought that he was smart enough that he was able to get around it. And now he's going to find out. And every other player in the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey even, and of course in football, are going to realize that they're not messing around.
Yeah, so the case stems from, I'm reading from the ESPN article, the case stems from the betting scandal involving former Toronto Raptors center Jontay Porter, who was banned from the NBA in the spring of 2024 for his role in a gambling scheme around player prop bets.
There you go.
Porter pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges and admitted in court to manipulating his performance in 2 games during the 2023-2024 season. He's awaiting sentencing in December. 4 men, including Porter, have pleaded guilty in the case. The 2 other men have been named as conspirators and have been in plea negotiations. So,
yeah, plea negotiation means tell us all you know about everybody else that's involved.
Yeah, and
that's basically what it comes down to.
And Terry Rozier, obviously one of those people, and now being arrested. So it's probably, I think it's safe to assume that this has to do with manipulating prop bets in order to get money to people who are putting large amounts on those prop bets. Now, I know that they have tried to limit in the past some of the sports books the amount of money that you can put on prop bets because of stuff like this, anything that's sort of player controlled in that way. And Adam Silver said not that long ago, we've been asking our partners, our gambling partners,
FanDuel,
to roll back some of those things and maybe even take them off the board.
I was with a couple of the FanDuel guys last night at our Chalk Talk.
Yeah.
And they're all aware. Everybody's aware, like why these players don't understand that they are being surveilled and they are being watched and that all the betting trends are being, looked at pretty much every game, every moment, every time. And why they don't understand that is beyond me. It really is beyond me. And, these guys in the NBA make so much money. And then maybe it is a sickness. And, we went through this here with Craig. And, Craig has, done his anti-gambling show just to talk about the dangers of all of this. It's remarkable to me that these guys that make this much money would be willing to risk it.
Yeah, it probably starts that way where they get into debt, and even the money that they're making, the number gets larger and larger, and it's like, okay, how can I get out of this without me paying my own money? And then someone suggests, well, this is how you do it. You go there and you fix your prop bets, you let me know when you're going to do it, and we're going to be able to put some big money on it and win. Now, the problem with that is, as you mentioned earlier, there are checks and balances when it comes to stuff like this in the year 2025. back in the day, something like this would happen. It'd be like, okay, it would be a red flag and the pit boss would come down or whatever. I mean, now there's a million computers tracking all this stuff.
Well, yeah.
And you get an abnormal amount of money coming in on a 4.5 over-under rebounds, and some guy who comes off the bench for the Magic, you're like, well, what the hell is this?
That's right. So there are companies that are specifically designed to track all of that stuff. And just to give you an idea about Terry Rozier and just how stupid this is, he's made a total of $160 million in his career. This year he was making almost $27 million with the Miami Heat. And next year he's an unrestricted free agent where he could have signed another contract.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfathomable, but as you mentioned, people who have these addictions, sometimes the numbers don't even matter, and you could, if you're gambling those large amounts of money in millions of dollars, then those numbers can evaporate very quickly.
It's amazing. He's 31 years old. He's been in the league for 10 years. He could probably play another 4 or 5 years if he wanted to, and he'd make another $100 million possibly.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
When we used to talk about this prior to issues like this happening, it used to be, all right, who are the most vulnerable people to get to? And it would be collegiate athletes. And we had seen point-shaving scandals in college sports previous to that. It was also officials. We had seen Tim Donaghy be wrapped up in something like this, the NBA official. But never would I have imagined this situation with a man who made $160 million in the course of his career get arrested by the FBI for point shaving. I mean, that to me it just wasn't on the table, because you think about the people that need money, but then again, if it's involved in gambling and he's losing this money, or maybe he wasn't losing money, he was just greedy and thought he could get more.
Either that or he is helping buddies make money.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't really making that much money. Like, $50,000 going to mean anything to him? But it could mean something to, guys that he's hanging out with.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's just, maybe Cash will give us a much better understanding as to how deep this runs, and to let everybody in sports know that they are watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly, because it's just, you're not going to be able to get away with it. You're just not. I mean, when it comes to, like, prop bets, it's impossible to not have a red flag go off, because people aren't gambling large amounts of money on prop bets with the same player unless something's going on. Like, prop bets.
That's how stupid these people are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now, you want to tell me that a game could be fixed in a way where an official throws a flag? That's going to be tough to prove unless someone dives into the communication. But the problem is,
I just think Rams, Saints.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, I know.
I think of that game, and I really do wonder.
I mean, it's crazy to say, but there's so much evidence now that stuff like this does go on, and people risk their lives in order to make money through these illegal ways that involve sports, that now you can't rule out anything. If Terry Rozier is getting arrested by the FBI making $160 million in the NBA, I think anybody can be wrapped up in something like this.
That's exactly right. And that's why they do have to, unfortunately, they have to make an example of him. And this is why, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, is going to be standing in front of hundreds of cameras explaining what went on here and just how they're going to try to tamp down on it as best they can.
Yeah, I mean, a take I always had, because I felt like people were naive to the fact that sports gambling had been a large thing prior to the sports books and the online sports books being legal in the States. I would always bring up, like, this has been going on forever. If some of a mafia member or whoever wanted to get to a player, they could have done this at any time. I don't think that the legalized gambling is going to make it worse. It has. I mean, maybe because it's just easier to place a bet, and that's why the access to it has led to some more of this. But I'm shocked. I mean, I'm not shocked that stuff like this happens. I'm shocked at the fact that it's someone like Terry Rozier. That's what I'm shocked at, and the fact that a guy like him would be point shaving in the NBA.
It is crazy.